One of the benefits of being a Swiss band around this time is you could get HR Giga to compose your artwork for the album sleeve. You ran the risk of album art that was superior to the music inside, but the music inside in this case is pretty phenomenal if you're into prog rock and eclectic instrumental rock at this time. We're going to read aloud some reviews uploaded to Rate Your Music, reading them out in chronological order of the date of upload. I feel like these are more sufficient bios than others I found on the internet, frankly. From Proghead72, August 3rd, 2003. One-shot album by this Swiss band. The band was led by Benjamin Jaeger, who was previously with a band called Toad. Yep, Toad, which featured, of course, ex-Brain Ticket members. This is a totally fascinating album. The band consisted of vocals, Hammond organ, mini Moog, Taurus bass pedals, sax, drums, and percussion. But the band didn't use a guitar or even a bassist. That means the keyboards and the wind instruments shine. For the most diehard prog fans out there who want the most over-the-top complex prog out there, this album will satisfy. The music sounds like a combination of Van de Graaff Generator, Gentle Giant, and RIO, such as Universe Zero. The atmosphere, for the most part, is quite sinister, as is the cover artwork, done by their countryman HR Giga, same guy responsible for ELP's brain salad surgery, of course, I forget that, and helped design the creature for the 1979 movie Alien. In fact, the artwork looks very much like the creatures from Alien. The music is very long, with the exception of a short intro and a 7-minute instrumental. Nothing on this album is under 12 minutes long. There are 5 songs total. The album has its detractors because of the unbelievable complexity. They make Gentle Giant seem like the Moody Blues, as far as complexity is concerned. I might be over-exaggerating there. Definitely not an easy album to get into, but if you like Gentle Giant and VDGG, you're sure to enjoy this. From BJ_1, April 21st, 2010. Dark, sinister, and probably closer to avant-garde progressive rock than any other variation on the genre. While I agree on the Van de Graaff Generator comparisons, I can detect some Henry Cow and Universe Zero here as well. Similar moods and complexity. Unsure if Ireland were actually influenced by these guys. Although the album is constantly interesting, at least for a weirdo like myself, the best parts are definitely where the band goes into full avant-prog and even Zool-ish territory. Zool, that's subgenre that refers to a kind of continental European, mainly French subgenre of prog rock, exemplified by groups such as Magma, for example. Zool, the music genre, not Ghostbusters. Zoolish territory, providing some really dense and macabre music for the listener. Musicianship is stunning and right on time, even on the most demeaning and bizarre sections. Demeaning maybe means demanding. Yeah, demanding. No D there. Definitely one of the more unique prog releases of the 70s, dangerously complex, so it requires a good ear and slight insanity from the listener to fully appreciate everything. I'll leave it to the brilliant cover art explaining the rest for you. Now, how about this? The True Mithrandir, May 2nd, 2012. Yeah, it's Mao Zedong as his avatar there. Look at this. What we have here is a young prog band from Switzerland circa 1977 trying to keep their favourite music alive and vital entering the latter part of the 70s. This band no doubt wore their influence on their sleeves, but more than just a rip-off band, it seems like the attempt was to throw many prog elements into the pot in hopes for a new archetype for prog. Perhaps the hope was for a cerebral style of prog that was darker, more dystopian and uncertain about the fast-moving technological future. They created a musical synthesis that few second and third generation prog bands at that time could only dream of achieving. While as the countercultural tides rapidly changed in the onset of the immediacy and punk and new wave set in, we never got tons of bands out there all of a sudden playing like Ireland, and Ireland themselves seemed to have withered away into obscurity shortly afterward. Time and time again we've seen in all genres of music, bands that are this good from the start quickly burn hot and burn out fast, leaving behind a single gold statement to their name. So looking back at an album like Picture in 2011, we bear witness to an album that was pretty much fated to be a lost prog gem of cult status, and thus will remain so ever after. But what a gem this is. The band has often been compared to Van de Graaff Generator, and that's mostly due to the guitarless heavy sax approach. They take it even further, being a completely guitarless band, also excluding the bass guitar, which they leave the bass lines to the keyboards, just more original components to an already original band. Keys, sax, wicked drumming plus percussion, and a very eccentric vocalist is the initial recipe here before it's prepared, cooked and ready to taste. Aside from the VDGG influence, Ireland seemed to be drawing blatantly from many other bands as well, hailing from Genesis, King Crimson, Gentle Giant, Magma, even Henry Cow. This adds up to a very challenging listen which requires much attention. For one, the structures are unclear and move along in a labyrinthine fashion. First impression would seem like there are a lot of passages that have no connection whatsoever with preceding and or succeeding segments. For me, the songs are done in narrative style that unfolds in surprising directions at each turn of a page. Definitely not music for the neophyte who expects grounding in a constant beat and a foreseeable chorus. Not to say there isn't anything catchy throughout each composition, because there is, but there are a lot of tempo changes here, and just when you think you've anchored yourself onto a predictable beat and formula, they take another turn into something ambient and atonal. The music can be incredibly dense and multifaceted, at times erecting heavy notes around a keyboard-led bass rhythm in a Zool-like fashion, at others bouncing complementary melodies around the framework in a hooky manner that will no doubt bring to mind Gentle Giant and Genesis. In addition to the more complex and beat/rhythm-driven segments, you get a contrast of gloomy and sprawling, slow-build, quiet and distant passages, causing you to lean in and grasp at every ominous sound given. The vocals from the start remind me of Peter Gabriel, especially during the more narrative moments. While the singer bites off of Gabriel, he offers up his own twisted style of moaning, crooning, and strange a cappella bits scattered throughout, bringing to mind the vocal acrobatics of Klaus Blaski's Magma fame. There's also the use of strange whispers and even rhythmic breathy moments that adds more flavour to the already bizarre formula. The specially made album cover by H.R. Giger is totally appropriate and complementary to the music. Keeping the artwork in mind while listening to the album brings visions of floating through the vast alien chambers of Giger's twisted mind creations, especially during their more avant-garde atonal moments. To top it off, as haunting and cerebral as the music is, there are stabs at humour here and there, mostly in the odd lyrics and bizarre vocalizations. Hearing lines about gastric juices will cause the listener to have a few WTF moments. If there are any complaints I have with this album, it's more of a personal one, and it's that sometimes I might get a wee bit impatient for the more melody and rhythmic parts do kick in, so like I stated above, it's an album that requires your undivided attention, and not really an album to throw over for an immediate injection of prog rocking fury while driving in your car. So like Magma, Universe Zero and the like, it's best listened to in bed with headphones on, enveloping yourself in the undiminished universe of the art at hand. I would agree that Pictures by Island is a magnificent album if you're into this music whatsoever. It's an absolute essential listen. Thanks again, my friends.